Hello, my name is Lucy. Welcome back to my channel. I share videos on the topic of long COVID, chronic fatigue syndrome and mind-body approaches that can be helpful for those conditions. So today I wanted to talk about a few different barriers or factors that can keep people stuck and can impact on making progress when using a mind-body approach. So I'm not a medical professional, this isn't medical or mental health advice. I'm just sharing things that I have found helpful and things based on mind-body approaches. So for some people, they've been using a mind-body approach for quite a long time and they find that they're not making progress. And so these are a few different things that you could reflect on and consider if one of these things is something that's potentially holding you back from making a faster recovery. And I think using a mind-body approach, there's no simple recipe of follow this and you'll get these results. It differs person to person and different people will have different challenges and it does take time. So if you're noticing that you're feeling frustrated because you're not getting the same results that other people are getting, it might just be that some of the things that are getting in your way are different to that person, or some of the things that help you don't help that person, or vice versa. So there's three main things I wanted to cover in terms of things that could be holding you back. One is to do with how much you relate to this approach, how much you believe it, how much you believe it applies to you. The second is to do with secondary gains. So reasons why being unwell could be serving you, and I'll explain this in a little bit more detail as I come to it. And then the third one is to do with the tools that you're using and whether those specific approaches are helping you or are most appropriate for getting you better. And there's probably other things that I'm missing out as well in terms of things that could potentially be holding people back from making progress. But these are a few things to think about. And if there's other things that you can think of that are important, put them in the comments below. So the first one is to do with how much you really believe in this approach and how much you believe it's going to help you. Because I think some people will understand that it applies to them, but if they are seeing it as something that will just maybe help them with relaxation or with changing the way they think about things, it's going to be less effective than if you see this approach as the answer to treating your symptoms. And this approach isn't for everyone, and it's only going to help people with mind-body conditions. It might not help people with other conditions, although I think it's always worth considering how our mindset, how our emotions, how our thoughts might impact how we feel physically. But one of the really important things here is building evidence to show that this applies to you, that your emotions or your thoughts or your beliefs impact you physically or impact your symptoms. If you're sort of half committed to this approach, it's not going to be as helpful as if you really believe in it and you're fully committed. And you don't need to believe it 100% to gain benefit and to try it, but this is something that could get in the way of progress. So if you find that you're not making progress and potentially you're trying some of these tools and techniques but you don't really believe it'll work, then that's something that could potentially be the reason that it's not helping. And this can take time. It can take time to really relate to an approach. I was aware of a mind-body approach a long time before I really related to it fully and realized that this approach would help me. So beforehand, I knew like this could be helpful, but I wasn't really that committed to trying a mind-body approach. So the second thing is to do with secondary gains. Secondary gains are conscious or unconscious reasons that we might want to stay unwell. And when I say this, I don't mean that anyone would ever choose to be unwell, that they would want the symptoms, that they would want to suffer, because of course it is really unpleasant to have all of these symptoms every day and to be struggling with those on a daily basis. But when we are unwell, there are benefits, even though there are lots of drawbacks and downsides to being unwell. So some benefits, for instance, might be that your illness is helping you set boundaries with other people. So if you have a difficult relationship with someone and you're unwell, often you have an excuse not to spend time with that person. And this can sometimes be a reason why we don't want to get well again. Maybe it's hard for us to set boundaries, and that's something that we need to learn to do as we recover. Another thing could be, for instance, not knowing what type of work that you want to do. So for some people, before they got unwell, they were in a very stressful or difficult job, or a job that they didn't enjoy, and they're not sure what work they want to get back to. And for anyone, whether they're healthy or struggling with an illness, changing jobs is a stressful or difficult thing. Figuring out what you want to do in life can cause concern, it can cause stress, it can cause different feelings to come up, because maybe you want to do a career but you don't know how others might judge that career, or perhaps you don't know what you want to do and it seems really intimidating to start from scratch in a new profession or a new job or something new. So this is an understandable reason why there's going to be challenges related to getting well again and going back to normal life. Another potential secondary gain would be that maybe you're getting care by being unwell, and normally you're the caring person in your family or in your group of friends, and normally you're the person to give a lot of energy to other people. And when you're unwell, you have a reason not to do that, and you have a reason for others to care for you. And perhaps maybe you're not used to receiving care, and this is a nice change in some ways, that other people are looking after you, or that you are not feeling burdened by responsibility related to caring for lots of other people around you. And of course, lots of people enjoy caring for others, and it's a nice thing to do. But if other people see you as a carer, or if they're putting a lot of responsibility on you, it can be hard to change those dynamics. And that can be a challenge when you're getting well again, because maybe you don't want that pattern anymore, or you don't want to go back to having all of that responsibility for other people. And so there would be lots of other potential secondary gains that people might have in relation to being unwell. All you need to do is to ask yourself, what would be the challenge of becoming well again? And you could come up with a list of secondary gains. The challenge of becoming well again involves being out of your comfort zone, being anxious, trying to increase activity when that's potentially difficult, scary, maybe going to bring on more symptoms. So it's not easy to go through the process of getting well again, and sometimes it feels safer to stay in that bubble of being unwell. And reflecting on this can be really, really helpful and important, because you might be trying all of the tools and techniques on a regular basis, but you're not making the progress that you'd like to see. And perhaps it's because there are secondary gains to you staying at the level you are right now. So the third reason that people potentially are not making progress using a mind-body approach might be the specific tools and techniques that they're using. And it might be that you've been really committed to journaling for months and months and months, and you're trying this and you're giving it a good amount of time and consistency and effort. But perhaps journaling is not the answer for you. Maybe somatic tracking or becoming more aware of emotions would be a more helpful practice. This is why it's useful to try different things and to see what effect they have. and to try and really gauge if what you're doing is decreasing symptoms and is helping you do more activity. And if it's not, you might need to reflect on, have I given this enough time? Because maybe you've only just started a technique, in which case maybe you need to give it more time. But also, if you have given it a lot of time, what else can I try? What else can I start doing that might help? Some things can help people feel good in the short term, like meditation, relaxation exercises. And for some people, those are enough to decrease their symptoms and help them improve their energy and improve their health and get back to living in a normal way. And for others, it's not enough. So it can be helpful just to think critically about the tools and techniques you're using and try to figure out if there's something else you can try if those are not working for you. Or perhaps this tool or technique is useful and it's helpful, but just need to be adjusted. Maybe it's the time of the day, or maybe you need to do those when you have symptoms rather than when you don't have symptoms. But there is a lot of information online around different tools and techniques that can be used. And this is something that can always be adjusted and changed with time. So don't get discouraged if you're trying a tool or a specific technique and it's not helping you see results right now. There will be something else that you can try and that hopefully will be more helpful. So finally, another thing that I think can impact on people's progress is current day-to-day stress. And this could be because of the situation that you're in at the moment. So for instance, some people have recently experienced the death of a loved one. Some people may be experiencing a difficult situation in their home or family life. So day-to-day stress can impact on how well we're able to manage with being unwell and with doing these techniques and exercises and with staying focused as well. The most important thing with day-to-day stress is that you allow yourself to feel the emotions that are coming up for you in relation to those triggers. So we can't live in a stress-free environment or in an environment where nothing is going wrong. We can't control our lives in that way. But if we try to at least allow ourselves to feel any emotions and allow ourselves to be upset, to be frustrated, to be angry, to be sad, to experience loss, that will help. If there's anything else that comes to mind in terms of factors that might be holding you back from making progress, put them in the comments below. I'd be interested to see if anyone has something I didn't mention. And if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I've got a link to the Facebook group in the description below if you'd like to join the Facebook group. And if you feel that there's something in particular holding you back from making progress and you can't quite figure it out on your own or understand what you need to do to change that, feel free to book a call with me. I offer coaching, and sometimes it helps to have someone with an outside perspective to think about what might be getting in the way of you making progress. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.